we are glad now because we are having our guest now. He is coming from Philippines. He is our director in 1000 Missionary Campus in Philippines. His name is Pastor Joshua Shin. Pastor Joshua Shin, before he is also a former youth director in North Asia Pacific Division, NSD, for 9 years. And also, after that, he served in America, in USA, in one American church there. Yes. And now, we are glad because we will hear a special message from Pastor Joshua. Maybe let me also introduce the friends that came also from 1000 Missionary from Indonesia. Pastor Oh Junhee. He is director in 1000 Missionary in Indonesia. And also Pastor Nelson Neno is the secretary for 1000 Missionary in Indonesia. Now, we are giving the time for Pastor Joseph to give special message.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Happy Monday. Well, since he's taking video, I love to move around, but this morning somehow I'll keep myself calm. By the way, it is my great joy and happiness to stand here in front of you. Especially I recall all my young days in the Philippines with Pastor Paranging Nanging. I was young, only like 25, 6, 7, and he was my old kuya, my older brother, and he treated me as his own brother, and we had a really wonderful time in the Philippines. And now I'm here, standing in his union, serving the Lord in the name of the Lord. It is my great joy. Last year, January 8 through 11, there was an International Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, America. And Samsung company introduced for the first time in the human history 1010-inch ultra high definition TV. You look at this. They are, you see, the two ladies, the American ladies, quite tall and beautiful. But you would see the TV is almost even taller than they are, and it was a wonderful TV. And after this, of course, LG and Samsung, Mitsubishi, Sony, now they are trying to compete each other. Whose brand will be the world best? And now I want to show you the Samsung company history for last 22 years, which is exactly the same with the history of the 1000mm. Right? This is Mr. Lee Gun-hee, the Samsung president. And in 1993, on June 7th, he said something very, very special to his co-workers. He said, change everything except your wife and kids. You change everything. It was a kind of new revolutionary speech to his people. You know why he said this? In 1993, he was so happy because his brand, Samsung, became #1 brand in Korea. Before, like a Gold Star or Daewoo or Hyundai, the other electronic companies, they were the top. But in 1993, 1990s, Samsung became #1 brand in Korea, and they started to export their brands, their products to America. And with the pride, Mr. Lee, he went to the USA. And he visited Walmart and Sam's Club and Costco. The big, the sales place. And in those shopping malls, of course, his expectation was to see a Samsung product on the top of the electronic areas. You know, the coming of the Mr. Lee was reported, so people were lined up and they are trying to see this great man. And as we go into the Costco and the Walmart, he was guided and he finally arrived in electronic areas. And just within 5 seconds, he was bright and he was trying to smile, because many people are looking at him. But after a few seconds, this happy smiling face became like this. He was so serious, and now he became red and he became so shameful. You know why? He expected to see the Samsung product, TVs and everything on the top line there, the highest place. But unfortunately, all the top, the best places, Sony, Mitsubishi, Hitachi, Sharp, all those made in Japan products were displayed, and Samsung was very low in the bottom line. He was so shocked. And he didn't know what to say and what to do. After a few seconds, without saying anything, he just turned around and he went out. It was the most disgraceful moment for his life. And he moved to Frankfurt, Germany, and stayed there for 68 days. And he called 250 presidents of all the little small companies which are working for the Samsung. And now, in Frankfurt, Germany, with 250 CEOs, all those small and big companies with Samsung, he started to visit all the #1 companies in the world. For instance, Chanel, perfume company. And all the neckties or white shirts or jacket or shoes or handbag, whatsoever. Any company is #1 in the world. And they visit every single day. And after they come back and they have meetings until midnight and 1 o'clock a.m. It was reported, actually written by the diary of Mr. Samsung man, Dr. Song. He was his right hand. He was a kind of brain man of the Samsung company. And he wrote about this 68 days tour in Europe. And he said at the time, Mr. Lee was almost like a crazy man, because he was so upset with himself and his own product, Samsung name. And he said this: change everything. Forget about old fashion. Forget about old style, old methodologies, and old strategies. Now, from now on, we will be changed. And for 2 years, they have done so far very well. And all the lineup for management and for checkups and delivery, all the system was newly changed, and everything seems to be fine. And one day, something big happened. 1995, March 9, after almost 2 years of this revolution, Samsung Gumi factory, they got all those 150,000 pieces of cellular phones of Samsung. It was newly released, brand new items, but he collected all those many from Korea and he did something. The value of those items was like 50 billion Korean US dollars, 50 million US dollars. He piled up this, and in front of, why? Okay, in front of 2,000 officers of Samsung company and all the Gumi factory workers. Now he ordered about 12 people with hammers, and he gave the signal. And all these 12 people went to the, piled up, in the middle of this pile up, and they started to smash all those Samsung cell phones, 150,000 pieces by hammer. After they did about 10 minutes, he ordered again, "You bulldozer, crush them!" And 2 bulldozers, they came and they crushed all the TVs and mostly cell phones, but in order to symbolize this must be the only time for company. Ever this now on, we will never do this again. So selected TVs and refrigerators and washing machines and all Samsung products, it was smashed by the bulldozers. And after that, his anger was not ceased there. He called another man, put the gasoline, and he put the fire, and he burnt them all. It was captured by all the media, and it was broadcasted the whole land. Do you know why? Because March 8th, the one day before, something happened. Very shameful thing happened to Samsung. After this revolution, of course, Mr. Ligoni expected that, okay, from now on, Samsung will go on and on, will become the world best brand. But after 2 years, a man bought a Samsung cell phone. He paid a lot of money. At the time, it was very expensive, almost like $700, $800 US dollars. He bought this new one, and his former one was empty. After he bought this, because it was a number 1, the world best cell phone. So this young man happily paid almost $800, and he bought this new one, and he tried. But the quality of service was not that much good. His expectation was this much high, but the reality of the Samsung cell phone was quite low. So he was angry. He went to the branch and he asked for an exchange. He said, "No, so we'll repair your item." So they did several times, but still the problem was not solved. So this young man was so angry with this newly bought Samsung company. What he did, he brought his friends and asked him to take video and photo. He got one big stone, and he put the Samsung Omnia cell phone on the rock, and he got hammer, and he started to crush it. And he asked his friends to take the photo of this. And then after, he cursed the Samsung. He cursed the brand name, and he sent this photo to all the media, newspapers and TV broadcasting. And it was broadcasted March 8th. Just imagine how the Mr. Samsung Ligoni would understand this incident. Since then, again, he called all the members. That's why in front of 2,000 officers and the leaders, he was trying to change the Samsung. Now if you go to America or anywhere, Samsung is number 1 brand. Everywhere, Las Vegas, all the biggest convention centers and best hotels, everywhere you could see Samsung. The reason why I'm telling this, after I read his book and know the story of Samsung, I've been asking to myself, because 1993 was a very special year. I started my pastoral ministry in 1993. 1992 and 1993, I was in the Philippines, and this 1000 got started. I was the instructor for the first batch, this batch. I taught the first and the second batch of the 1000. So Samsung history is really giving me all the lessons of those years, I've been checking my pastoral ministry, whether I was successful or not. And I've been checking now as the new director of the 1000 mm, checking the history of the 1000 mm, whether the 22 years of history was successful or not. Which means I want to be innovative like Mr. Lee. For the 43rd batch, graduation and commencement ceremony, dispatching them, I visited Philippines March 8 this year. And I saw a ladies and the pictures, and it was really impressive. And he was, of course, she was looking much older than the other members. And I took notice that she was born in 1956, July 7th. She was what? How many old? How many years old? 58. And she attended all the survivor revival meeting, doing the physical fitness program with them. And she said it was my first time to pray in English during the graduation ceremony. And she was a partner with Filipino lady, and she went to Mindanao. She was dispatched to one of the remote area in Mindanao. And I met her in May, again in MVC, Mountain View College. And she reported me, Pastor, my assigned mission field is a mountainside, and there is no electricity, no water at all. With my partners, we visited house to house every day, and after 2 months, they started to have evangelist crusade for 2 weeks. After this crusade, she baptized 19 precious souls. 19 of them. And I met another lady walking in the aisle with a young man. She looked very old also. And she was actually a great preacher. I asked, how old are you? And she said, I was born in 1954, June 30. In other words, she is now 60-year-old. Man, I met 58-year-old and 60-year-old young missionaries in the Philippines. So my heart was really touched, and I got great impression. And this year, after I became the director, I moved from California and I came back to the Philippines. This was about half of the 44th batch now in the Philippines. This coming Sabbath, they will be dispatched. And one out of 100 44th batch, there is a Mr. Johnson, 51-year-old from India. And there is one young lady, 67-year-old, Mrs. Elena. Actually, her son is a pastor in India. And she somehow broke the record of the 1000 mm. She was the oldest member who joined the 1000 mm. And after a few days, I met one lady. She knocked the door, and as she came into my, director's office, she started to shout, Pastor Joshua Shin, please allow me to join the 1000 mm. I am strong enough. I can jump with them, and I can survive in any mission field. Please accept me. She was shouting and begging me. So I said, okay, you please sit down. And I called the general manager and the treasurer and officers. We had a meeting. You know what? She is Mrs. Salis. She is 87 years old. She was born in 1927. Can you imagine? 87 years old lady. She is now undergoing all the programs. Let me tell you why it happens. Joel 2:28-29 it says, actually 28. And afterward I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young man will see visions. I truly believe God is outpouring His Spirit upon all people. All people includes all different age level, all different countries, and all different genders. And I truly believe it is happening now. Amongst the 44th batch, there are 4 married couples. And one of them are from Korea. They are just newly married. Kim Tae-young and Jeong Ju-un, these 2 couples, they are from Korea. You know what? They just married 3 months ago and got the first trip, honeymoon trip to Thailand, and after staying there 1 week, they just joined the 1000. You just imagine newly married couple, how much they've been longing for to become as one. But now they have to separate it. Guy in the boys' dorm, and lady in the girls' dorm. For 3 months they have to be separated. You just imagine. It is a great, great sacrifice. But now they are happy. They just, happily join and taking all the trainings with happy smiling faces. And they say, no problem for us, Pastor. For us, the more important thing is not sleeping together actually. Doing everything for God's work together with my wife and together with my husband. That has been our dream for many years. My friends, not only this, we have Friends for Life. They are a professional singing group for the last 14 years. And after having concerts at our campus for missionaries, and actually I had a conversation with them for 8 hours, then I appealed them. Since you are full-time singers, why not joining to the 1000 mm, sing for the Lord with the name of the 1000 mm? And I just simply tossed my idea to them, and they went back. After 5 days, Friday morning, the leader of the singing group called me. Pastor Shen, we have studied and negotiated and discussed this for many, many hours. And last night we made our final decision. All of us will join the 1000 mm. From now on, no more Friends for Life. You just imagine, they have kept their name, Friends for Life, as a professional singers for 14 years in the Philippines. They're quite well-known singers. But they said, no more. We will join the 1000 mm and we will sing for the Lord through His name. So now they are taking the training with us. This is the 41st batch, and they already graduated. And yearly, this many young people, if they join, like us, 71 or 2 people, they reclaim the backsliders, 1,140. And they conducted 15 crusades and baptized 629 precious souls. And they constructed 4 churches. And they organized, the churches or congregations 6. And this was the last year batch, 42nd batch. In July they graduated. And there are 102 members. Their report was even better. They reclaimed 1,571 backsliders, and they conducted 63 crusades. And by this effort, they baptized 1,601 precious souls. And they constructed 6 churches, and they organized 16 church congregations. It is happening every single year by the power of the 1000 mm in the Philippines and many other countries. Of course, this report is only coming from them. So all in all, until now, we have these statistics. From 1993 to 2014, for last 22 years, 6,397, almost 6,400 missionaries came from 59 countries. And we dispatched them to 42 countries. And through their ministries, we baptized over 64,235 precious souls. And 755 churches were constructed. And over 13,055 churches and companies were organized. So now what we are going to do is this. It's not only for the young people. We need to have a groundwork. So we are going to open a children missionary movement. And actually I started this movement in 2002 after I became the division director. Not only youth ministries, and I was again called for the children's ministry. So we did this, and now our aim to have CMM missionaries, 10,000 missionaries in NSD and SSD. You just imagine, once we have a 10,000 young children from elementary level, if only 10% of them become 2,000 mm, every year, every single year, we can produce 1,000 missionaries for the Lord. And as I visited USA, I found this. We have many middle school and high school and colleges. If you get the image from Google, typing missionaries, you may see all different pictures of Mormon church members. My son and daughter, they graduated the Southern Adventist University in Tennessee. And one particular Sabbath afternoon, I attended a ceremony, commencement ceremony of the school. At the time, they sent 48 Share Him Ministry people. Share Him Ministry is a program for 3 weeks. They got training and they go to some remote areas, unchurched or unentered territories, and they proclaim the gospel for 3 weeks. And 65 graduates from religious education. And they sent that particular year 85 students from this single Adventist university, 85 international missionaries, those who are spending one precious year for the mission. And my son's 3 friends, they went to Kenya and Congo and the other parts of the world. Wow, as I look at that, because in America, like Walla Walla and La Sierra and PUC and Southern and Andrews and many other colleges and universities, every single year they are sending almost 100 people from each school. You just imagine how many missionaries are going out to the world. So my challenge is this now as a new director, not only focusing on the middle age, like the 20s, 30s, but if we approach to the children and the middle school and high school and college students, I believe we can evangelize the whole world by our young people. So we want to have a world branches in all 13 divisions. We want to have our 1,000 mm branches. And all the unions, we want to have this kind of branch. And our conference leaders, they need to know the power of young people. And all the mission institutions, if we have this world mission spirit, I truly believe the Joel 2:28, that vision of Joel, Prophet Joel, would be realized in our time. And I was so happy that our pastor, Parangin Langing and Pastor Sagala, visited my office, and they shared their vision. Pastor Shin, you please come to Indonesia because we are going to open a new branch in West area. And I love the idea, and I reported this to the division. Dr. Lee was so happy. If that is their dream, why not? You just go and you just help them to open a new branch in West area. Our focus is for the young people is only the Word of God and the power of prayer. Through these 2 programs, we truly believe our young people will be initiated and ignited by the Spirit of the Lord. And they will be well empowered with this word and the prayer, and they will do great things. What we do nowadays, every single day, we spend 5 to 6 hours to give the chain Bible studies. You pastors, you know what are the chain Bible studies. And we let the missionaries read the Bible every day 2 hours. So within 6 weeks of training program, we completely read from Genesis to Revelation. Actually last week, Thursday, Friday, Sabbath, Sunday, for 4 days, they finished the Old Testament. In the first weekend, we finished the New Testament. So all the missionaries, those 8 countries, 100 missionaries, now they are reading the Bible and praying every single hour. We do God's great mission. So my friends, it is my honor to have a morning devotion with you, although it was not planned ahead of time, but thank you for arranging me this time, and thank you for allowing me to preach this morning. I want to share the same idea and mission spirit with you. Once you open this program, I truly believe this West Indonesia Union mission will be stirred up by the power of the Spirit. And many young people and our church members, not only young, but including up to 87-year-old church members, they will know the power of the world mission. And I believe if they cannot go, maybe by finance or by prayer support, all our church members being ignited by the Spirit of the Lord. And I truly believe this 280 million people in Indonesia, they will know the love of God. And soon, the second coming of the Lord will come in our days. So let us pray hard for the new launching of this program. And that's why I came here today at 10 a.m. We'll have a special meeting with the leaders of this union. And I believe the Lord will guide our thoughts and minds, and finally we'll conclude the best launching experience in West Indonesia. May the Lord bless you as you serve the Lord in this great union mission. God bless you. Amen.